15 Dangerous Things Found in Cereal Boxes and Other Treacherous Toys. Part 1.
If you are brand new to our channel, we invite you to take a moment to subscribe. Just click on the lit red button as well as the gray bell. Why the bell? Well, it will let you know every time we post a new video.
1. Popper Toys, Captain Crunch. Children really are amazing creatures. Who could possibly ever be entertained by a piece of colorful rubber for hours on end? Indeed, we don't give children enough credit for their tenacity. These eye poppers seem harmless like some of the others on this list, but a total of 36 children actually suffered eye injuries via Quaker Oats popper toys back in 1993. Hopefully, you weren't one of them. At least they had a cool story to tell. This toy caused some of the most injuries on this list, with 36 people suffering bruised and bloodshot eyes after suctioning the toy to their face. Indeed, the toy was not intended to be used that way, but you can't trust children with anything, ever. Quaker advised the public to discard the toy immediately. 2. Kinder Surprise Egg. We don't know of any cereals that ever came with a Kinder Egg, but that it would certainly be a Kinder surprise. These toys are part of every Canadian's fondest memories, so it is hard to believe that they are so dangerous. Your parent may have even put one of these surprises in your stocking every year. 3 UK children died after choking on one of the small parts needed to assemble the toy that comes in the center of the chocolate egg. Did you know that they are illegal in the United States? That's right. Sure, you may be able to get yourself a gun in less time it takes to put together a Kinder Egg, but don't even think about smuggling a Kinder Egg across the border. 2 Seattle men attempted it, but they were reportedly fined $2,500 per egg, and they were in possession of 6. 3. Pokeballs, Burger King Kids Meal. While this toy didn't come in a cereal box, it did come in a Burger King Kids Meal. It also became the biggest and most expensive recall ever. This seemingly innocent Pokeball, which pulled apart, ended up to be quite deadly. In 1999, a 13-month-old child from California suffocated herself with the Pokeball after she put it over her mouth and nose. She was found in her playpen with the toy over her mouth. The way Burger King chose to handle the situation is just as shocking. They refused to recall the toy, despite the child's death, until the toy was actually proven to have caused the death, causing a lot of outrage. Another 18-month-old girl also almost suffocated, but, luckily, her father saved her. Burger King finally agreed to recall the toy after the second incident, saying that they should discard the ball or return both halves of the ball to a Burger King restaurant for a free order of small French fries. Eventually, it was proven that the toy did in fact present a risk of suffocation. 4. The Cool Flute, Corn Pops. Some of you may remember these toys from your own childhood. They were hanging around in 1988 in boxes of Corn Pops, Rice Krispies, Fruity Marshmallow Krispies and Cocoa Krispies. They are actually more educational toys, so we have to give Kellogg's credit for that even if the toys ended up being high risk. While a cool flute and a pair of binoculars seem pretty harmless on the surface, both toys had to be recalled because they didn't comply with CPSC's regulations for small parts. It turned out that they could be broken into small parts after being thrown around a bunch, posing a safety risk to children under the age of 3. Unfortunately, one choking incident involving the flute and the girl nearly died after choking on the toy. In response, Kellogg's recalled roughly 30 million of the toys. 5. Slip and Slides. We all have fond memories of sliding down slip and slides, belly up, every summer until we turn 10. That's a lie. We are still prone to sliding down a slip and slide every now and again. These things are so popular that millions of them have been sold over the years. Aside from an occasional grass skin burn, these toys were pretty harmless and just good old-fashioned fun. Unless you're an adult or a teenager, in which case your risk of suffering from a neck or spinal injury and even death increases. Between 1973 and 1991, 7 adults and one 13-year-old suffered neck injuries and paralysis after sliding down a slip-and-slide. Kids aren't just reckless and irresponsible, adults are too. We are putting this on this list because we care about you. Thank us later. 6. Easy Bake Ovens. The Easy Bake Oven was part of every childhood and is now a pop icon. No, this toy oven didn't come in your cereal box, but it was an iconic toy that has sadly been recalled. No longer will children be able to pretend that they are domesticated adults. Sometime after the oven's remodel in 2006, the company received 29 reports of children getting their fingers stuck in the oven, which included 5 burns, causing the company to recall the ovens. They also offered a free retrofit kit, which was supposed to cover the opening of the oven to protect tiny hands and fingers. However, even after this, there were 249 incidents that occurred, including 77 burns. 16 of these burns were second and third degree burns. A 5-year-old girl also had to have part of her finger amputated because the burn was so bad. Those poor children. We apologize if we've ruined your nostalgic image of the Easy Bake Oven, but it had to happen. 7. NASCAR Hot Wheels, Fruit Loops. Who didn't play with car toys as a child? Hopefully it wasn't one of the ones you found in a box of Fruit Loops. Unfortunately for Kellogg, they had yet another mishap with one of their toys, this time with a NASCAR Hot Wheels toy car. It was red and yellow with a white hood. Because they were super cool toys, they also had the red Kellogg logo on the front of the hood. They were found in a bunch of different cereals, from Fruit Loops to Mini Wheats Frosted Bites. However, Kellogg was forced to recall a whopping 837,000 of the toy cars because they realized that the wheels could be easily detached and could pose a choking risk to young children. While they were notified of this potential risk, no reports of any injuries were found. With Kellogg's having a hand in so many of the toys found in children's breakfast cereals, you would think that they would have accounted for the wheels, especially since this was a toy that was created in 2000. Kellogg got lucky on this one. 8. Insane amount of sugar, Honey Smacks. What about the things hiding in breakfast cereals that don't cause immediate danger, but could lead to life-threatening diseases such as obesity and diabetes? An article about breakfast cereals would be remiss without discussing one very dangerous culprit, sugar. So, what are the worst offenders? Perhaps Fruit Loops comes to mind. After all, each colorful ring was coated in a layer of sugar. Indeed, Fruit Loops are breakfast cereals with 14.5 grams of sugar per 35-gram serving. In other words, that means that each box of Fruit Loops is 41.4% sugar. But it is not the worst offender. That spot goes to Honey Smacks, which have 19.4 grams of sugar per 35-gram serving. That is the equivalent of feeding your child 2 Krispy Kreme donuts. If that isn't scary, we don't know what is.